Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, December 9th, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll remind everybody that we have the private call tonight about the new technology, and that's at 9 p.m. on this line, so that people can find out what the new technology is and what it does, and understand it isn't connected to New Extracts or iHercules. So it is a completely separate formulation. An optimist is a person who sees a green light everywhere, while a pessimist sees only the red stoplight. The truly wise person is colorblind. Albert Schweitzer. One of the most important things we can practice in this life is to remain open to a positive shift in perception. If we want to live with any type of sustainable happiness in this crazy world, our perception of reality is everything. Perception is the backbone to enlightenment, and the divine perception is effortlessly seeing how joyful, expansive, and fulfilling every experience of this life truly is. Every experience in life contains a connection to a higher state of consciousness. When our minds are open, we can always find it, no matter what the challenging person, situation, or problem might be. If you can sit back and see with fresh eyes, an open heart, and an insatiable curiosity, all difficulty fades away, and the situation becomes brand new. Creating a divine change in perception is quite simple. It starts with being open to the possibility that divine guidance, a higher God source, overflowing with clarity, connection, and love, is in everything. Everything. It is even in the awareness that is already here right now. With this awesome state of awareness, we are no longer following the incessant, hungry chatter of the mind that's wandering around the world like a lost puppy. With conscious awareness, we are more interested in leading the pack back home to devour the most succulent and expansive life experience available to each and every one of us. When we choose to start feeling, smelling, tasting, touching, hearing, and observing life through this open mind, this quiet heart, and awesome unfiltered awareness, we perceive divinity is here now. In every single experience of life, this is the divine state, the most super juicy ride a human life can take. It's absolutely amazing how incredible life can be with such a simple divine change and perception. Consciousness can only observe what undergoes change. That which is eternal cannot be observed by consciousness or known by it. Unless you meditate on this point, the puzzle will not be solved. Nisargadatta. If you want to experience the fast track to making this divine internal shift happen, then you need to experience one simple yet very courageous thing. Change what you put in your mouth and the words that come out of your mouth for 36 hours. The mouth is our sacred portal to transformation. When we shift the content of what's flowing in and out of it, everything internally will quickly change. Our mouths are a powerful tool and should be greatly respected for the transformation it can do to each of us. If we want to see real miracles manifest this week in our lives, then make a radical shift in your diet. Clean out your internal hardware with a cleansing green juice drink. The radical shift in our diet begins with 100% willpower, yet then reveals the real magic when all willpower has subsided. Hold on to the intention of seeing and feeling the divine in everything and everyone. And this is profound perception, cannot be forced, yet only comes through absolute surrender, letting go of how our old eyes viewed reality. When we're not eating our normal ego-gratifying foods, our emotional body will tend to revolt, get cranky. You may feel hangry when calorie intake is lower than normal, or energy supply has to reach for higher levels. This is when your deeper spiritual assignment in life kicks in. When the mind loses the plot, start to breathe deeply for 3 to 5 minutes into the belly, and soon the light of pure consciousness will come pouring in. The light of divine perception is already inside of you. You must have to remove the muck so it can find its way through. Holding an intention in life can only become confused with holding on to desire. Holding an intention in life can often become confused with holding on to desire. In the world of manifestation, they are exactly the opposite. There is no attachment or expectation when you have an intention to create an experience. You're simply living in awe of how the magic of the manifesting universe works. You are relaxed in yourself, completely at ease, because you are trusting the magic of the mind. You are not clinging to any desire because you feel so deeply connected with the infinite spiritual source within you. You're trusting the universe has got your back and enjoyably immersed in your surrender to the totality of existence. It is only through letting go of the old that we create a new space to arrive at a different dimension of reality. In order to go from 3D to 5D, we must pass through the heart at 4D. The heart is the gateway to altering your divine perception of reality. There is no easier way to feel the source of God is here now, in your every breath, thought, and movement. Simply by being completely open and surrendered to each moment, it naturally finds its way into you. Are you open to having a divine change in perception, even tonight? It is your choice. So it's all about how we perceive. Always has been. It's how we view things. One individual's perception may be different than another's. Other people jump to conclusions, gain the offensive. They misunderstand, misinterpret. They allow their emotions to take them in high areas and then very low areas, frequency. So it's a lot of confusion. Misunderstanding, confusion, misinterpretation, fear, anger, anxiety, stress. I mean, it's just a lot of things. So it's how we communicate with ourselves and how to identify the fact that the God in that body is who you are and not the body, not the personality, not the character, not your belongings, not your assets, none of it. It's the God within the body. When we allow ourselves to drop in lower and lower and lower and lower frequencies, we attract lower and lower and lower and lower frequencies. And even though a lot of us know this, our perception is different. We don't acknowledge it. We don't acknowledge the fact that it is us that's creating the low frequency. It's us on everything. When we get angry, when we get disturbed, when we get upset, our frequencies drop right down into the basement. There's no debating it. It's been proven over and over again. But yet we still do it. Because here's the key. The ego mind pushes you into anger through the heart mind. You see what I mean? It's the ego mind that's in charge. And the ego mind pushes us. And we become more infuriated Because remember, ego mind is never satisfied. The ego is never satisfied. And then, of course, then we don't realize that the universe kicks in and gives us more of what we are experiencing. So if you're very angry, upset, and irritated, and you've misinterpreted and your perception has been twisted through the ego mind, and you feel threatened, then your frequencies drop right down into the lower levels of existence. And then the universe comes in and says, oh, okay, here's more. And so the universe will give you more. It's knowing this is the first step. An optimist is a person who sees a green light everywhere, while a pessimist sees only the red stoplight. And the truly wise person is colorblind. This is food for thought for all of us as this massive transition on this planet continues to move forward into the higher and higher and higher frequencies. We have to be very careful not to allow ourselves to go into the deeper muck of the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. Because then it just attracts more for us. It brings more into our lives. It brings more disruption, more anger, more frustration. And you're actually feeding yourself and you don't even know it. And as the body starts to show itself, it tries to communicate with you that all of this fear, aggravation, frustration, stress, you are bringing on yourself. And that's a tough one. It's a tough one for any of us. Because for us to accept that is to forgive it. So it's a continual process. We must keep our frequencies high. Our perception is that everything is a green light and that there is no red light because we're colorblind. And that's important right now because of this transformation that's happening. A lot of people are stressed out. A lot of people not too happy. You could just poke them and they catch on fire with anger. And unfortunately, the thing that it does is it doesn't really do much to those who are in the sight of those people. It does a lot to harm them. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. I'm sure we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax our bodies. It is so imperative to keep our bodies relaxed. It is the great doorway to peace and tranquility. And to keep them relaxed, we focus on our breath. Concentrate on easy in through the nose and easy out through the mouth. And so as we focus on it, our breath, the body begins to loosen up, begins to let go. All of the worries and stresses and fears and anxieties that you may have on your mind, leave. And all that mind chatter that we all have leaves. And we're only in the now. By focusing on the breath, we're in the now. And the body begins to respond in turn, in peace, and tranquility. And all those worries, stresses, and fears, because you're stilling the ego mind. You're stepping out of it. You're not entertaining it. You're not engaging it. And we've all been tricked more than once by the ego mind. And the less we let go, the more frustration we experience, the more suffering we experience. So we stay in the now by focusing on our breath. That's pretty simple, isn't it? And see, everything is in the now. The future is created in the now, and the past is gone. It used to be now, and now it's gone. We store everything in our subconscious minds. And it's repeatedly for us to understand that we're not the body, we are the God within the body. So as we relax the body and we surrender and we let go, and I think a lot of us are afraid to let go because we think we're going to lose things. But it's staying in peace all through this life. That's the challenge for each and every one of us. Maintaining peace within, tranquility, benevolence. And no one can force you to do that. Only you can do it. Only you. Only you. And that's when the whole life changes. That's when your whole life changes. Everything shifts. It's like when you look in this body, you see 7 lines. What are they? They go from the tailbone to the top of the head. They're known as chakras. What is the definition of chakra? Wheel. So these are wheels of light. They're etheric spiritual energy. And we, the gods in the body, are etheric spiritual energy. So we flow through the wheels of light. And we are so connected to these bodies, most of us don't know it. The blood, the organs, the tissue, the breath, the brain, all of it. See, eventually, we will come to an understanding that we could heal these bodies that we're in a blink of the eye. Not yet, but just to make that acknowledgement is being halfway there. Now you picture 3 paths in front of you. One on the left, one in the center, one on the right. These paths are golden shimmering. You can see trees branching over like a tunnel. And the bark and the leaves and everything are shimmering gold. And you see this beautiful bright green grassy path in each one. But the one on the left, the past, is very worn. And the one on the right, the future, is very worn. And the one that you're standing on, the now, looks brand new. So when we look at the one on the left, the past, a lot of us reminisce. We have things that we enjoy, that we review in our library, in our subconscious mind. And so we review things. And we go through them, nostalgia and everything, but we don't stay there forever. We just put the book back on the shelf and we leave. But unfortunately, some of us will stay there, and I don't believe it's consciously, but we stay there so long that we end up bringing the past into a future that doesn't exist, creating that future from that past and reliving that past in that future. This is why a lot of people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. And we do that a little bit, but we don't do it to the point where we relive it and create a future of it. And we all go into a future, but the future we don't understand is made in the now. And so when we go out there and we're searching and we're wondering when are we going to have this, and when am I going to have this, and when am I going to meet the love of my life, and when am I going to have enough money to enjoy my life, and when am I not going to be sick all the time, and when am I going to be healthy? All of these things, we have questions. And you know what's interesting about that? If we were only to go within, we would get all the answers. Instead of out there. Being in the now and practicing being in the now is super powerful. Super powerful. And focusing on the breath, you could do it during the course of the day. This is so imperative to be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself, and to constantly be in gratitude 24/7. So when you float off, because we have these tens of thousands, millions of thoughts like clouds in the sky passing by, but they aren't ours. They're not our thoughts. They're programs, and they're other people's thoughts. So we can be focused on something. We all have done this more than once, and then we just float off somewhere. But now, when you are empowered and you have the knowledge, you can say, it's not a big deal. I'll focus on my breath and I'll be in the now. It's very uncomfortable at first because we're so used to being in the future and the past and never the now. Always the future, always striving in the future or reliving the past, but never in the now. So that's why it's uncomfortable. It's not something that we're used to. But to practice continuously, you'll find that eventually it will be your natural state of being. It goes against all the grain in our society today to only be in the now. And when we can stop worrying about what others think about us, of us, then we will truly be free. So we know that we're not the body, we're the soul, the God, the higher self, the spirit, all facets of the God, of pure consciousness. And the body, of which we're not, is the earth. The soul is the heaven. Heaven is a place. You, I, all of us are gods, the kingdom of God, the heaven. And the body's the earth. So we literally are heaven on earth. And we're consciously aware. And people say, what does consciously aware really mean? It means that we are consciously aware that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. It's what we're made of. And then gratitude and peace comes with that. And that's what's being consciously aware of. We also know, since we are consciously aware to a certain extent, is that every step we take, we're creating paradise literally on this planet in a higher dimensional frequency of love, gratitude, and peace. And we're shining our light 360 degrees everywhere. Everywhere. And what is the light? It's the God source. It's the kingdom of God. It's heaven. It's who we all are. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe, we're blasting all of it with this pure, deep, eternal love. Non-stop. Infinity. Now, we also know that if we left this planet to view it from afar, and we looked at it, we would see that it glowed. Not only that it glowed, but the fact that if you looked at all the lights in the universe, they would pale in comparison to this planet with 8 billion gods within these bodies. Because whether you're asleep or not, you're still going to glow. Can't hide that. So we literally are creating a God planet paradise. And we also know that there are parts of us, the gods that we are, that are asleep. I mean, you can't force them to wake up. They'll wake up in their own time. In the meantime, we communicate with parts of ourselves, the gods that we are, that are awake, consciously aware. That includes all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. That's the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes, ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Nash, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Moria, Abundantia, Pel, Da, Yahweh, Yeshua. All of our loved ones who've ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, agartha, and beneath earth. All the galactics, off-worlders, celestials. And light energy beings on this planet, on it, in it, above it, and below it. Because of the eyes that we have with these bodies, we only see 1% of what is. We don't see UV or infrared. There's a lot of different light spectrums. But we are familiar with a small group, and we interact with parts of that group on a daily basis. Fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur, and many, many, many more. Now, could we be housed in these bodies as the gods that we are if the bodies did not get oxygen? Air? No. What about water? No. We have an intimate relationship with these magics. We just don't really understand it yet. Now, the archangels, their civilization, it vibrates at a different frequency than we do. That's why we don't see them like we see each other. Now, they may pass by, they look like us, and make a comment, or you may meet them in just a random conversation out of the clear blue. It's not all the time that we identify, but then there's times that we do, and we understand that, that conversation I just had, that was with an angel. And see, there's a lot of earth angels on this. So there's a lot of interaction which we aren't aware of. Now, they have a message, and they deliver it in many different ways through many lifetimes. But it really does come to the understanding that isn't it absolutely magna-glorious that we are alive in these bodies. And that's bliss, when we acknowledge that. And if you want them to surround you at any one time, in the tens of thousands or tens of millions, just ask them. They will. And you'll experience bliss. And because of the vibrational frequency, they can house a large number in a small area. The Ascended Masters, they have mastered the physical. They've ascended into physical, mastered the physical. They have ascended out of physical and hold pure consciousness God form. We have ascended into physical. We are in the process of mastering the physical, creating our experiences to perfect our perfection. Our creation. Now, the Galactics, the off-worlders, and the Celestials, over 2,000 species travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. But we are familiar with a small group. There's the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the Felines, Zeta Reticuli, the Anunnaki, the Nords, the Greys, the Draco, the Reptilian, the Golden Pyramid, the Avian. Now, this particular group has been assisting us in our evolution. Our enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And we're all gathered, so to speak, in Gugaplexes. Gugaplex fills this entire universe with not even 1 square inch of sacred space to spare. Whether we're thousands of billions of light years away, we are one. We are always connected because we are all one. And we're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one, and we're all God, and we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This light emanates from the God force, love, light, energy in each and every one of us. And this is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest eternal love. And we're flooding this planet with it, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. Gratitude and peace. You can see why the vibrational frequencies continue to increase. As more wake up into the understanding, higher and higher and higher vibrational frequency will occur. More and more of us will want to stay in the bliss. We'll want to stay in the peace, the bliss, the joy. And then the vibrational frequency will continue to increase. As we begin to ascend above the planet, we're immediately met with this massive ocean of glitter. And the best way to describe it is that a grand finale fireworks display, unlike anything we've ever seen, a massive laser light show, and this massive ballroom mirrored globe, except this one is a trillion times larger and a trillion times more intense. Combining all those together is what we view. And the flashes and the lights and the spectacular burst of light everywhere. So we're curious, so we go to the source, the reflection. And we notice that we see these little tiny microscopically, perfectly etched mirrors. So we go within them and we discover that all life, no matter how it's housed, is either teaching or learning, learning or teaching, or both. We are always learning from each other, teaching each other, or both. And even the God within teaches us. We learn things just by ourselves. So a bird, a dog, a cat, a horse, a cow, bug in the rug, fly on the wall, we are all interacting. These are all life housed in certain physical forms. Tree, and it's forever. It's fantastic. It's spectacular that we have this opportunity to constantly learn, progress. We were immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created. It reminds us all of our power of healing. Then we're met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. Then we're met with the white fire. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that from head to toe, inside and out, we were imbued with a white fire armor. This armor comes from the God source within each and every one of us. It is pure, deep, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. It is nothing like the armor on this planet. It is way beyond that. So we are not harmed. No demon possession, no attachments, no lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. We are protected 24/7 throughout infinity. Yet, only you have the power that if you decide, whether consciously or unconsciously, to lower your vibrational frequency low enough through anger, hatred, fear, greed, envy, hurry, manipulation, dishonesty, revenge, you will lower your vibrational frequency low enough to create a breach in your white fire armor, allowing all the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in, which will increase hatred, increase anger, increase fear, increase greed, increase worry. Not a good place for any of us to be. Then you have all kinds of opportunities for demon possession and attachments. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with a double column of light. The first part of that column is the purple transmuting flame. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that we can take the purple transmuting flame, we can transmute all the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness, where they are no more. Then the other part of the column is the violet ray. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray, we can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony to the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Gratitude, peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all, the gods that we are in these bodies, that we are the sun. We are the sunlight. We are the sunrise, the sunset. We are the clouds in the sky. We are the mountains. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the rainbows, the rain, trees, the forest, the animals. We're everything. Everything is us. So the next time you view a sunset or a sunrise, a rainbow, an ocean front, a forest, it is you. It is the God that you are. I am the God that is. It's a whole different feeling when you view it that way. We continue to ascend above the planet. And some of us decide to step outside our physical form and hover effortlessly above them. And if we're carrying physical form. And why do we do this? Well, because we can. We come into full contact with a massive crystalline light tower. We created this tower. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the column, we see this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere, we see a golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by numerous multicolored rings of light. Almost looks like infinity. And they're all sending, it looks like a mist, a cloud, and it looks like it's electrified and it's sparkling and reflecting. And it's absorbed into us. And it is like a warm embrace that never ends. And the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude. Then comes peace. Then comes gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. Bliss, joy, tranquility, benevolence, great prosperity, great abundance. It's unending. And then we discover that it all is a reflection of the gods that we are within these bodies. At the top of this column, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, 24/7, flooding us all. This golden ocean is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. And we're all swimming in it. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe. And we are drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is the drops. Drops are the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It's at center circle. We created this sphere almost 4 years ago. It holds over 1,700 of our meditations in high vibrational frequency. Perpetual. Now, these meditations don't disappear. They don't wane. They don't disintegrate. They do the opposite. They intensify and they expand. You imagine that. Hundreds of millions of us, from all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond and forever, consciously aware, focused on this planet, on the outer rim of the Milky Way galaxy, in its complete liberation into the higher and higher and higher frequencies of deep eternal love, gratitude, and peace. That's why this meditative sphere can be seen, heard, and felt in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond and forever. And this is why it continues to intensify. This is why it continues to expand. You can come into it anytime you wish. And yes, you are awake. Each moment, there is an awake, aware energy here now. Know that this cannot change. Rest deeply into the knowingness. It will create a transformation in your being. It is exactly what you will need today for transcending your very next unconscious, momentary lapse of mental jargon. I'll join you in meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Move easily and slowly. This moment, this very moment, contains everything. Surrender it, and guess what? You'll actually get the whole universe with it. There is an extraordinary depth to any seemingly ordinary life. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We'll return here Friday, December 10th, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. And Friday night, 9 p.m., with our special guest, John Buck of Natural Action Company on Structured Water.